are the group 4, and I will introduce first myself. I am Genevieve Torian. So, our report is all about managing natural hazards on earthquake, volcanoes, tropical cyclones, flooding, drought, impact and management of natural hazards on people and environment, and also opportunities presented by natural hazards. So first, what is natural hazards? It is a phenomenon that might have a negative effect on human and other animals or the environment. It is a severe and extreme weather and climate events. Natural hazards become disaster when people lives and livelihoods are destroyed. So, how we can manage natural hazards? So make sure you have emergency preparedness, disaster and evacuation planning, and especially training and exercise. To manage all the disaster or natural disaster, my groupmates will explain in any type of natural hazards.
Let's talk about earthquake. Experiencing earthquake has been a very frightening encounter for many of us. When you feel the earthquake shaking, your only wish is for it to stop and not do more damage to many. Aside from being horrified by the experience, the after effects of an earthquake are something that is very alarming, just like occurrence of tsunamis. You hear appalling stories about how one place can be brought to devastations in a snap because of earthquakes. Regardless of how we hope that it won't happen again, the occurrence of earthquake is something that we are not in control of it. It can happen within any time and hit place lying within the fault lines. Earthquakes are among the many nature calamities that have caused devastations to properties and claimed thousands of lives over the years. In fact, according to statistics, 50 to 80 earthquakes occurs every single day, and about 2,000 each year. When an earthquake occurs, it's difficult to tell the amount of destruction it would cause in its wake. Apart from devastating properties and buildings, earthquakes can trigger a tsunami that can uproot population or lead to loss of lives. Earthquake kills many people because they have no warning sign and find people unprepared. Despite effort by governments to educate the masses of earthquake warning sign and preparedness, a lot has not been accomplished. An earthquake is an announced or sudden tremor of the earth due to movement within the earth crust or volcanic eruption. To understand earthquake better, let's look at how they build up. So these are the four types of earthquakes. First is tectonic earthquakes, volcanic earthquakes, explosion earthquakes, and last is collapse earthquakes and devastating effects of earthquakes. So these are the devastating effects of earthquakes. Damage to building, damage to infrastructure, landslide and rockslide can result in flood. Earthquakes can trigger tsunamis, leads to liquefactions. Thank you.
The second types of natural hazard is volcano. Volcano is a mountain or hill, typically conical, having a crater or vent through which lava, rock fragments, hot vapor, and gas are being or have been erupted from the Earth's crust. There are 300 volcanoes in the Philippines and 22 of these are active. First we have Baboyan Claro. Banahaw, Beleran, Buddaju, Bulusan, Kabayan, Kagwa, Kamigindi, Babuyanes, Didikas, Hebok-Hibok, Iraya, Eriga, Kanlaon, Leonard, Makaturing, Matutom, Mayon, Musuan, Parker, Pinatubo, Ragang, Smith, at Taalo. Pros of living near a volcano. First, we have mesmerizing view. When there is a volcano, there is no doubt that there will be a beautiful and mesmerizing scenery that can make our juice drop. The sight of the flowing lava cannot take their eyes away from. That means living near a volcano will make that view a permanent possibility, and you can now walk up to Mother Nature, showing her gracious gift. While tourists pay thousands of dollars to have a glance at nature. Second, we have mining job. Volcanoes add a very positive impact of the local economy. Volcanic activities constantly produce minerals and precious stones like diamonds. Minerals are very useful for batteries, fungicides. While tourists pay thousands of dollars to have a glance at nature, you get to enjoy that free. Minerals are very useful for batteries, fungicides, fertilizers, fireworks, and etc. A diamond, of course, is one of the precious stones that all long for. Such as conditions allows the promotion of mining jobs surrounding the area when jobs are created. The residents living near a volcano get a huge advantage of available opportunities. Third, we have safer property. Since most people are afraid to live near a risky volcano that can erupt at any moment, the properties surrounding the volcanic area are relatively very cheap. That makes good quality homes available at low rates, making them easily affordable. So you get to live in a good house with an amazing view at just half the price of other houses. Also, living near a volcano will save up all that money and help you live a happy life. Cons of living near a volcano. So we have three cons of living near a volcano. First, we have frequent earthquakes. One of the major disadvantages of living near a volcano is that you are faced with frequent earthquakes. When there is a volcano present, earthquakes are inevitable. Therefore, living near a volcano will need mental preparation for that. Not only that, earthquakes can be very harmful to the foundation of the house structure that can cause destruction and damages to the entirety of living. Not only that, earthquakes can be very harmful to the foundation of the house structure that can cause destruction and damages to the entirety of living. Second, we have worry of being homeless. Another most common disadvantage of living near a volcano is that you might end up being homeless when you least expect. This is because whenever there is a volcano eruption, a moment's notice can make you leave your house and evacuate immediately for safety. So, become homeless is going to be a very common phenomenon when you live near a volcano. Third, we have death risk. This disadvantage is one of the most dangerous ones. Living near a volcano will always require taking risks. Activities like a sudden volcanic eruption, Fissure openings, lava flow inside your house, pyroclastic flow, tsunamis, and etc. will remain a major trait when you live near a volcano.
A tropical cyclone is a rapidly rotating storm system characterized by a low pressure center, a close low-level atmospheric circulation, strong winds, and a spiral arrangement of thunderstorms that produce heavy rain and squalls. Depending on its location and strength, a tropical cyclone is referred by different names. Hazard from tropical cyclones, which include tropical depression, tropical storms, and hurricanes, include storm surge flooding, inland flooding from heavy rains, destructive winds, tornadoes, and high surf and rip currents. So historically, tropical cyclones have occurred around the world for thousands of years, with one of the earliest tropical cyclones on record estimated to have occurred in western Australia in around 4000 BC. However, before satellites imagery became available during the 28th century, there was no way to detect a tropical cyclone unless it impacted land or a ship encountered it by chance. So the safety precautions for tropical cyclones wear strong shoes and tough clothing for protection. Lock doors, turn off power, gas, and water. Take your evacuation and emergency kits. If evacuating inland out of town, take pits and leave early to avoid heavy traffic, flooding, and wind hazards. So when your area is under cyclone warning, get away from low-lying beaches or other low-lying areas close to the coast. Leave early before your way to higher ground or shelter gets flooded. Do not delay and run the risk of being marooned. If your house is securely built on high ground, take shelter in the safe part of the house.
Hello everyone, I am the next reporter and my topic is divided into two, which is floodings and drought. The first topic that I would introduce to you is all about the floods. So, what is floods? Flooding is a temporary covering by water of not normally covered by water. It is an overflow of a large amount of water beyond its normal limit. Floods have many causes. Causes of floods. Number 1, heavy rainfall. Number 2, urban drainage basins. Number 3, overflowing rivers. Number 4, inadequate capacity within the banks. Number 5, storm surge and tsunamis. Number 6, channels with steep side. Number 7, lack of vegetation. And last is melting snow and ice. The effects of flooding. So, flooding has 3 effects. Number 1 is the economic. Number 2, environment. And the number 3 is people and animals. Management of floods. There are 8 ways to manage floods. The number 1 is introduce better flooding warning system. Number 2 is to modify home business to help them to withstand. Number 3 is floods construct buildings above floor level. Number 4, increase spending on land defense. Number 5, protect wetlands and introduce plant trees strategically. Number 6, restore rivers to their natural courses. Number 7, improve soil conditions. And last, introduce water storage areas like this. And that is the end of our first topic. So let's proceed to the second topic, which is about drought. So drought it is a prolonged dry period in the natural climate cycle that can occur anywhere in the world. It is a slow onset disaster characterized by the lack of precipitation, resulting in a water shortage. Drought can have a serious impact on health, agriculture, economics, energies, and the environment. Characteristic of drought. A drought is a period of time when an area or a region experiences below normal precipitation. The lack of adequate precipitation, either rain or snow, can cause reduced soil moisture or groundwater. diminished stream flow, crop damage, and a general water shortage. The causes of drought. Drought can be caused by a number of factors. The most important one though relates to the amount of water vapor in the atmosphere, as this is what creates precipitation. If there is an above average presence of dry pressure air systems instead, less moisture is available to produce precipitation. Even deforestation for agriculture or building combined with the resultant erosion can also cause drought to begin cause as soil is moved away from an area. It is less able to absorb moisture when it falls. So, droughts can be of three kinds. Number 1 is meteorological drought. Number 2 is the hydrological drought. And number 3 is agricultural drought. Meteorological drought. This happens when the actual rainfall in an area is significantly less than the climatological mean of that area. The country as a whole may have a normal monsoon, but different meteorological districts and subdivisions can have below normal rainfall. The rainfall categorized for smaller areas are defined by their division from a meteorological area's normal rainfall. Hydrological drought, a marked depletion of surface water causing very low stream flow and drying of lakes, rivers, and reservoirs. Agricultural drought, inadequate soil moisture resulting in acute crop stress and fall in agricultural productivity. Drought has three impacts. Number 1 is economic impact. Number 2, environmental impact. And number 3 is the social impact. Economic impact is agriculture and the income generated from crops in short term, and unemployment of farmers and even retailers can occur at long term. While environmental impact is more on the insect infestations and plant diseases, increased erosion, habitat and landscape degradation in short term, and plant and animal species can suffer tremendously, and over time, desertification can happen with an extreme lack of moisture at long term. The last impact, or the social impact, disputes between users of available water, inequalities in water distribution between wealthy and poor, disparities in areas in need of disaster relief, and a decline in health. There are three ways of managing droughts. Number 1 is education. Number 2, stop pollution. And last is water conservation and storage.
So, my topic was all about the management of natural hazard. So, management of natural hazard, the natural hazard management process can be divided into pre-event measures, actions during and immediately following an event, and post-disaster measures. In approximate chronological order, these are the follows. So, pre-event measures na consist siya sa mitigation of natural hazard, preparation of natural disaster, then ang measure of during and immediately after natural disaster, which is ang production, emergency preparedness, including monitoring, alert, evacuation, and education and training. And then sa measures during and immediately after natural disasters, mauna na siya ang rescue, mga relief. Then number 3 is the post-disaster measures. So ang mauna siya ang consist sa post-disaster measure, which is ang rescue. So, measures during and immediately after natural disaster. Kani siya nga kuan, mauna na siya ang naay ang kanang pag-rescue o panghatag sa mga relief goods sa mga naapektuhan sa mga disaster, para which is kanang wala sila mga pagkaon, ginahatagan sila, gina-donatan og mga pagkaon. So number 3 is the post-disaster measure. Mga na siya ang rehabilitation, which is ang area para kung saan dito which is kung evacuate ang mga naapektuhan na sila area nga para kay stayhan para sa anang naapektuhan nilang mga area. So kani sila kailangan jud sila mga rehabilitation anang ilang kailangan stayhan kay naapektuhan man sila sa disaster. So mitigation of natural hazards data collect ni siya sa mga analysis para madali ra nila malocate ang mga na apektuhan ng mga area ug ang vulnerability reduction, which is madali ra po nila ma-monitor ang mga vulnerable. Then the preparation of natural disasters, siya ang production, emergency preparedness including monitoring, alert, evacuation, which is ginamonitor nila ang mga evacuation center, ang mga naapektuhan. So ang reconstruction mo na niya ang pag-build up sa balay kanang do gamay lang siya, at least na sila may stayhan.
I will report the impact and opportunities presented by natural hazards. The impact of natural hazards on people and the environment is loss of life, injuries, damage is infrastructure, businesses, and the ecosystem. You face the danger of death. You may also lose your home and community. Therefore, to prevent the impact of natural hazard in our environment, we should take care of our community through planting trees, don't throw in garbage, and avoid dangerous activities. Also, the impact of natural hazards. You see, when you hear hazards, all hazards have similar impact, just few variations between them. So you find out that tectonic hazards have to do with earthquake, and volcanoes has to do damage to buildings and infrastructure. Fire outbreaks, tsunami can lead to landslides, water-related disease such as cholera. It can lead to loss of life, can lead to trauma. While flooding can also lead to loss of livestock, loss of crops, damage to buildings and infrastructure, contamination of water, water-related disease, and financial loss. You see their both impact are similar, so if you just remember one should be able to answer the impact all of them. Why in the case of tropical cyclone lead to flooding, lead to loss of life, lead to financial losses, damage to buildings and infrastructure, loss of crops and habitats, for water-related disease, droughts can lead to deaths of organisms, water source, dry up, declining in crop, yield or starvation, increase in soil erosion. And the opportunities presented by natural hazards are the property, value, and living conditions in some areas will improve through the redevelopment of infrastructure. Natural hazards help to bring people, housing, and relief goods are the basic opportunities during natural hazards. Looking at the brighter side, the aftermath of a certain disaster can force people and its government to redevelop and upgrade infrastructures, hence offering jobs and require new skills as they modernize things around them. Furthermore, they will have to consider using new equipment of various purposes, academic and businesses, to improve productivity and faster cash flow, respectively. Ang aftermath is isa na siya kabagyo. Like halimbawa, di ba na yung mga guba, dara na mosulod ang assessment. They will have to assist the do's and don'ts or preventative measures para if another bagyo will come, mas prepared ang mga areas na maigo ato. Now, what are the some of the opportunities presented by natural hazards? Opportunities presented by natural hazards. We have importance of flooding, such as the position of cells on farmland. The importance of volcanoes in the opportunities is tourist attraction, provide income and employment, create fertile, lava and ash, add nutrient to the soil, which led to increased high agricultural production. Heat generated provides good source for geothermal energy. Most volcanic rock are source of rivers, provide gravel for building, and rocks can be used for defense, contain minerals which when excavated provide income in the economy.